Who said that?
Sir Michael Rocks. He was like, we got Gucci on repeat and Pinky on replay.
Is that Pinky?
No.
Pinky, remember Pinky?
No, I know what you're talking about, but like, you just watching porn back to back, like
while listening to Gucci.
That sounds wild.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy Big Cozy, Too Cozy. I'm here kicking it with my amigos, Spence and Nigel. This is the Highly Vibe Podcast, episode 39. You already know it's holiday season. So what's up, fellas?
What's going on, y'all? Relaxing, no G_Jackson. I'm sitting here with my friends. It's a little late at night, but we came here.
Jackson.
Still came through. Big Jackson, Guapo Jackson, as I've been deemed tonight. You know, I'm here for the people before we, go and chill for the rest of the year with our, families and loved ones and all that other good shit.
It's a whole lot of money.
Tell me, you put your names on the money, man. Just let them know that. Yo, what's going on, everybody? You're checking in. This is Spence from the Highly Vibes Podcast. You can follow me at Saint Kitch on Instagram, st.kitch. Also follow us at the Instagram page of the Highly Vibes Podcast on Instagram, and as well as Advise Highly on Twitter. So with that being said, everything's good for myself overall. Can't really complain. Just getting through the week, just like any other week. You know what I mean? A lot of things been happening, but I think we'll kind of dive into some of that stuff anyway. So how's everything been going for yourself, Lau?
Well, fellas, I ain't even gonna hold you. Rough ass weekend, right. But that's okay because you know what I mean? Sometimes the coziest and the most relaxed, sometimes his sheets will get a little wrinkly, Sometimes it's time for me to go out and get some new linen, some new silk, to refine the, Wisconsin king that I'm sleeping on. So it's okay. I'm all right. I'm just saying.
Wisconsin king, bro.
Hey, you ain't never heard of it, man, because your mind hasn't been, exposed to it, bro. There's Alaska king, Wisconsin king. You know what I mean? So,
yo, you bought that mattress for like $200, man. You probably bought that mattress for like $25. I'm lying.
Yo, on the real, I bought my mattress for like $600 on sale. On sale, $600, bro. Lando, did you buy your mattress for like $100?
Oh my God, man! Nah. So what happened was, first of all, there's no way in hell I'm ever buying $100 mattress. You got to be out of your fucking mind. That's first and foremost. Two, I did buy my first mattress not too long ago, and it was crazy because I didn't realize how nice it is having a new mattress compared to the old mattress you have in life. Well, also I didn't know is that buying a mattress is like buying a damn car. The dude, I was in there, I was ready to go. He was like, all right, I'm not going to buy this mattress today. Thank you. He's like, look, I'm going to give you a gift card if you buy the mattress today. And I was like,
what?
It was like $100 gift card or some shit like that. And I was like, sir, thanks, but I'm just going to go and shop around. He's like, all right. Look. I got 2 gift cards. And then I still walked away. I was like, no, sorry, thank you. He's like, all right. I'm going to take it down $400 for you and give you the gift cards. And after that, you have to leave. And I said no. And then he finally gave me the price I asked for. So I was like, all right, thank you.
So this is just your negotiation tactic the whole time, man.
Nah, I really just didn't want to buy the mattress. But he gave me what I asked for, so how was I not supposed to take the damn mattress? You know what I mean? He gave me a deal that I asked for. I was like, all right, fuck it. You got me.
Hey, man, shouts out to him, man. But he could have swindled a young legend like, Guapo Jackson, a.k.a. Mr. Whole Lot of Money.
Yeah, a.k.a. my name's on the dollar bill, baby.
Look, man, they can fuck with me. They can't fuck with me. Come on, man.
No, they can't. The descendant of Andrew Jackson.
Come on, man.
Oh man. You know, man, it's one beautiful thing about every time we get together and record, man. It's always something but to laugh about. I swear to you, yo.
Yes,
it's like one
sir.
of the few things I definitely look forward to every single week, yo. With you guys,
You know
guys
what?
are funny.
And it's cool because, like, you know, last week was a little bit of a rough one. Like, but probably the only good week I had last week was like Monday, and then after that, my week went to shit. You know what I mean? But it was like, it was cool because y'all came over on Monday, so that was pretty dope. You know what I mean? I was just like,
yeah, man. Happy birthday, man. 29 years to a young legend. You know, he went from a pawn to a motherfucking king, bro.
Something
this
like
nigga
that,
used to be he went to a whole lot of money overnight, bro. Overnight.
Big licks.
They just don't know the story yet. That's all it is.
Yeah, man. You gotta tell them your story. Hey,
They'll
man.
know one day.
Hey, man, you're like, Dollar Boy. It's my time now.
Oh, God. No. Speaking of my time.
You gotta chill, yo. You gotta chill.
It looks like Joe Biden.
Jeez,
my God,
more transition.
Yeah.
It looks like Joe Biden actually won the electoral colleges.
Jeez, you really
no more transitions for you, bro.
Yeah, you gotta chill with this transition, man.
Speaking of,
in other news,
yeah.
But nah, yeah, I did see something about he actually did win the electoral college vote, so which pretty much puts the nail. Well, let me not say nail in a coffin, but it pretty much puts the writing on the wall that this race is probably over. Being that from what I'm hearing, other people on the opposing side have already started like falling back, allegedly, from what I've heard. So, not sure if from the resources that I have, I thought they're sufficient, but just saying. But yeah, congratulations to Joe with the victory such as that, though. So,
hey man. We seen it, we knew it. A lot of people knew it as well, but there was also a lot of people that was denying it. A lot of people thought the election was rigged because of a narrative that was going around. And we're just going to see, man, from 2021 moving forward, we're going to see for the next 4 years, okay, are we going to move in a better position as a country, or is this still going to be a shit show? So only time will tell.
Yeah, I'm here with you. Like, that's really where I'm at with the whole, presidential election. I just want whoever, like I want Joe Biden just to be a good president for us and actually, try to do something good for the people. That's where I'm at. And if we can get something good out of that, then that's great for us as a people.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Agreed.
I definitely agree. I mean, it seems like already that he's kind of putting a plan together anyway for like his people and like his teams and everything like that in terms of like the teams he's assembling. So I think we just gotta wait and see what actually comes of all of this. But in the meantime, we just gotta just take it with each step, I guess you could say. I got a question for you guys though. Are you guys gonna take the vaccine? Because I'm not sure if you've seen, but I'm not sure if you guys seen, but earlier this week, I think it was like a 90-year-old woman. She actually ended up taking the vaccine. She was like the first person in the world to actually take the vaccine, and apparently, like, there's been multiple people since then actually taking the vaccine as well. So
I'm not in a situation where I have to take it at the moment.
Same here.
And I guess we'll just see when the time comes,
right.
until I'm put in the situation.
Understand. Yes. Yeah. I'm going to leave it at that where Nigel's at because I don't want to say too much. And I think you and Nigel can understand why.
Right. I totally understand. Yeah. So, well, how do you feel about at least about this 90-year-old woman being like the first person? Like it is very reminiscent of like Simpsons episode to some extent, but like
two words come in my mind: guinea pig.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something else.
Well, I don't know. Like, I mean, I hope she's healthy. That's all I can really say. Like, I'm curious to know, like, as to what's going on with that. I would hope she's okay from that.
there can be a lot that comes with something like this, just being that it's so early in its phase, I guess you could say, of development with the medicine allegedly. But we have time between now and when we get like when I think most people will be able to get the vaccine. From what I heard, it might be like sometime like mid, like June, July of next year, midsummer. So I mean, between now and then, I mean, we'll see like anything that happens or whatever, and just in terms of cause and effect when it comes to like the application of the vaccine. So
Right.
but I know like there's been like some like I don't know. I think with 2020, I'm just hoping that it doesn't end up being like a hopefully 2021 doesn't end up being a crazy year, because just when we thought we almost got out of it, we end up, I don't know if you guys saw, but like Pornhub, apparently they did like a whole purge on like their whole system, and apparently like they got rid of like all of like their the a fair majority of their catalog, to say the least.
Yeah, apparently they only went to the verified pages, or the pages that were like, I guess, somewhere near verifiable. And
Yeah.
I guess if I would assume, if there's a reason they did it, is because a lot of people say that a lot of child pornography is actually on Pornhub.
Wow, I
Yeah,
did not know
Yeah.
that. That
right,
makes a lot of fucking sense why they would do what they're doing then.
right. So they're
You know,
trying to, get rid of some of that stuff, and keep it to where people are only, using it for what it's supposed to be used for adults. I can't be, like, who can be against that? You know what I mean? Like, I think,
yeah,
like, and of course, some people are going to get caught up in that, who, don't deserve to be, but hopefully, they can find an outlet somewhere else, or, be able to get their stuff back at some point in time.
that's man, that's bizarre. I did not know that. I thought it was just like, hey, people uploading videos of themselves randomly having sex. We just want to have verified people only. You know what I mean? I didn't know it was like, hey, because people are doing really fucking evil shit by uploading
Well,
crazy
no.
shit like that. I didn't know that. That's crazy. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to start purging that.
Well, the reality is that that stuff is out there. You know what I mean? And sometimes, like, let's be real. Like, that's like the dude, and this is like definitely a very minimal like type situation where it happened, where the dude was playing Twitch and actually streaming the UFC fight, and he was pretending like he was playing the game. He's streaming the
Yeah.
UFC fight on Twitch. It's like you're not allowed to do that, but somebody got away with it. You know what I mean?
Right, but compared to like child pornography, bro, like
Exact. I
that's
know it's a way different thing. It's way more serious, and like more like it's
right.
More
you know what I mean.
But at the same
But
time, like when people are talking Pornhub, and I wasn't think of anything until you mentioned it. People are going to Pornhub because they're like, "Hey, I'm trying to watch some free porn,"
right.
and then now it's like, okay, now it's been brought to my attention, like, hey, there was actually incidents of people uploading child porn. It makes a lot of sense why the Pornhub administrators are like, "Yo, we gotta get a handle on this,"
Well,
because
my
I mean, I'm pretty sure they don't want their website to be a representation of, hey, this is the Wild Wild West. Upload whatever you deem see fit.
my point in saying that is that people are getting away with stuff all the time on these random websites, and that's why you have moderators and whatnot to make sure that shit's not going on. This is actually a big part of the Facebook lawsuit. I think they were talking about as the how they have people moderating their social media, if I'm not mistaken. And some people are going through and just looking at all the stuff they're uploading for social media and seeing like all of it. You know what I mean? And we all know
Yeah.
that there's certain shit that we don't want to see, but there's somebody who's getting paid to like look at all of it.
Well,
Yeah.
uh, I don't want to go too deep dive into that. Maybe that's something we should talk about in a future episode. But I think there needs to be a balance when it comes to shit like that. You know what I mean? Because if you don't have people moderating certain stuff, you'll have people like, hey, I'm going to upload shit that shouldn't be uploaded.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like there, you have to figure out some type of way.
It's yeah, well, it's that, and then it's like when it came to like the Pornhub situation, it was a child pornography, but it was also it was some part of like the whole pirating movies thing as well.
Yeah,
But I know some very well known companies withdrew themselves from Pornhub and I think Mind Geek or whatever. Or
Mm.
Mind Geek, which is like the parent company. So like of course typically when you force some to get change quickly is to pull someone's pocket.
Yep.
So it I think that was the main one of the main drivers behind why something like this happened so quickly. It is it I think because of like the whole nastiness of like child pornography, I think it does make sense for something like this to happen though. Because prior to it didn't make sense to me either until I have read more into it, and it made more sense as to why something like this would be happening. I just think I'm very interested to see what happens to like their business model moving forward. Just because I think in the article that I read, they had lost like they deleted like their most popular like non-verified account video like that. Even like the most popular video on the page got deleted because of like this new like amendment. So
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see what happens if it drives traffic to like their competitors, or if it would just be something within like their parent company umbrella. So
Yeah, man, that's fucking wild, man. And it's just it's sad that we live in a world where like shit like that exists, you know what I mean? And it's just it's very disgusting, you know. To mildly put it, it's very is. And what else is fucking disgusting is the Paul brothers. They're fucking they should they should be in the same fucking boat as that. You know, they're abominations to in the world of boxing right now, if you ask me. So I know you guys heard about the, you know, quote unquote breaking fucking news. Floyd Mayweather once again coming out of retirement for another probably 15 to 20 million dollar payday against Logan Paul, a guy who's 0-1 in his professional boxing career, and he lost to another YouTuber. And actually, and if you anybody watch highlights of that fight where he lost to KSI, Logan Paul was doing a lot of the clutching, or some casual fans say hugging, you know? So if you think that he struggled and lost to a guy like KSI, who's also not a boxer, I mean, just imagine what you think what Floyd would do to him. But of course, knowing the scam artist Floyd has been as of late, he'll probably drag it out 4 or 5 rounds so people can, you know, falsely believe that they're getting their money's worth. When we all know that Floyd could really beat this guy up within the first 3 minutes of the boxing belt.
Yeah. You know, it's a waste of time. I mean, of course I'm going to watch it because it's Floyd Mayweather, but you know, he's doing it for money. Floyd likes getting paid, and what an easy payday it is for him to box somebody who's only had but one boxing match, and you're arguably the best boxer of all time. So, like, I mean, what else is there really to say?
man, listen, Floyd got to cut it out, bro. Like, I'll just keep it a buck with you. Floyd, like, don't get me wrong. Just like anybody else, we're all gonna watch it, right? Because it's Floyd Mayweather. But the reality is, like, at some point, and it kind of goes into the whole, like, just the same way that Laos talked about it before about boxing being a crime, right? The way the sport of boxing is a crime today. Even like, granted, I get it. Like, Floyd is easy money. Like, this is practically free money, and because of that, it's you're a fool not to take free money. But at the same time, it's like, come on, yo. At some point, I think, I, I think, I think the greed that could be sitting there, or just the desire for the free money, could really jeopardize. Like, all it takes is one moment where Floyd just is just a hair of a second not fast enough, right? Where, granted, I don't think it would be against someone like Logan Paul, but I'm saying like, if because I see Floyd doing something like this every year. Like, this is something that's probably going to be like a traditional thing for him, where he's still able to be in the limelight, still able to be in like a big quote unquote fight, and it not really count towards anything, even if he loses. Like,
But
this is annoying.
it is annoying. I agree with you, man. It's just like, you know, the Seahawks today, they got their second bye week, right? And The reason why I say they got their second bye week because they beat the fucking Jets, and we all know that's not really a game. So, like, let's be real. Like with Floyd, this is just another boxing session, like another sparring session for Floyd. But it's against somebody that literally is like, hey, this guy's off the street. I don't care what nobody says about Logan Paul. He's been boxing 2-3 years. Him and his brother Jake. Compared to Floyd, he's a guy off the street. He is not, he's nowhere near the level of Floyd. This is the, boxing scam 101. And I will not pay for this fight. Will I watch the little highlights on Twitter and people will post on YouTube or whatever like that? Sure. Why not? Because it's there free. I'm not spending my hard-earned money on that. If I was going to spend it on Tyson and Roy Jones, two Hall of Famer, former world champions,
Right.
I'm not going to spend it on Floyd beating Logan Paul. And if Floyd does the job to Logan Paul, I don't want to hear anybody. Boxing will die. If he does the job to Logan Paul. No, because I seen this speculation come out like, oh, Floyd is going to throw the fight to Logan Paul so this way they could do big money rematch. If he does the job.
That would be horrible.
If he does the job to Logan Paul, February 20th, 2021 is the date that boxing has died, because it's like you're going to job out to a YouTuber, but you won't job out to a legitimate boxer. Like it destroys boxing completely. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Floyd, like I said, he's going to dance around the ring for 5 or 6 rounds. Then he's going to put Logan Paul away. I don't even know if he's allowed to, because his exhibition bout, right? The World Boxing Corrupt, they might fucking figure out a way they could get a draw and have some type of medal or some shit like that at the end of it.
They're gonna make it not count. You know what I mean? They'll be like, oh, like we're gonna wear protective gear, or da da da. It won't be like a boxing match. You know what I mean? Not one of his 50. It'll be like something where we can just throw it to the side. And if Jake Paul were to let's say the grace of God hits Jake Paul and he somehow finds a way to beat Floyd Mayweather randomly, or Floyd Mayweather just drops a fight, and then they'll just go again. You know what I mean?
Well, like I said, the sport of boxing would die that night. It would die. It's already, people are already clowning the event. They're like, "Come on, Floyd." You know what I mean? You can at least rematch Pacquiao, or if you want to give an exhibition bout, rematch Conor or somebody who could fight at least. The Logan Paul, really? You know what I mean? This is what Spence, correct me if I'm wrong. This is what you're talking about last week. Or, hey, if the Paul brothers are doing celebrity boxing fights between them and another celebrity, that's okay. Or them against another YouTuber, that's okay. But you talk about arguably the greatest boxer of all time, fighting Logan Paul, a guy that we would never talk about, but we're now talking about it because it's worldwide breaking news. Hey, surprise, guys! Boxing is scamming you out of your hard-earned money again. We want to steal your money because the UFC is the real fighting now, and we're not real fighting. We have Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. That fight won't happen. It's not because of the boxers. It's because their scam promoters sitting there haven't found a way to scam people out of their money yet. So it's okay. Let me stop because I can.
Nah. I mean, trust me, man. I share your sentiment when it comes to this whole boxing thing at times, because there's a lot of fights there's certain fights that should be made that the people actually want to see, right? That because of the politics of the sport, they don't happen when they should happen. They happen when they're less desired, right? And of course, we can look at plenty of fighters, but even like when you look at someone like the Fury and Joshua at this point, because after Joshua just had a great victory recently, you even say with someone like him, you're like, yo, now his mandatory is Usyk, but it's like, though Usyk, there's a chance that Usyk can beat him, but like, let's be honest, like me and you were talking about it earlier, like we want, like Bob and Eddie need to figure out how to sit down and say, how can we make that fight happen? And when you look at someone like Floyd and this Logan Paul thing, granted, it is an exhibition. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, you say to yourself, at the end of the day, when we watch Floyd Mayweather, we're buying into the fact that we want to see Floyd lose. That's what everybody buys a Floyd Mayweather fight for. That's the end all be all. Let's be honest. It loses its flair when it's like a YouTuber and not like Lau said, like someone like Conor McGregor or a rematch with Pacquiao. Because I mean, Pacquiao is really him rematching Pacquiao at this point would be the equivalent of like a younger version of that Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. Like at that moment, it's like it makes sense. But when these guys are doing like all this like extraness of fighting just these celebrities just for the heck of it, just for a quick money grab, it does taint the sport because it's just like the pool of money that's there in terms of like people willing to buy is only a few people. Like only a handful of people are actually buying the fight. More people are there's probably more people pirating it, unfortunately.
Th-
But like
There's
in
probably more
what
people. There's probably more people who bought UFC 256 this past weekend. Really,
probably so.
Yeah.
I heard I didn't even have a chance I didn't have a chance to catch it, but I ended up watching some of the highlights. I heard Tony lost.
Tony
Yeah.
lost.
Tony lost, man. They're saying like he's the lightweight Woodley now, and
I
Jeez.
don't think
it,
that's fair. That's not
I
That's
don't.
fair.
wow.
So just to recap, UFC 256, great event. If you spent your hard-earned money on it, good for you because all the fights except I think all the fights. Well, there was a lot of fights that ended in knockout, but the other three fights that did end in knockout were they were all great fights. They were all good fights, good showings, good, especially that main event. People are calling that main event potential fight of the year, greatest flyweight fight of all time.
It
It's a
might be.
classic.
It's one of the best flyweight fights I've seen.
Yeah, it was a really good fight. It was a really good fight. But let's start things off with like Tony real quick. So Tony, man, I don't know if he should have taken that fight. That's what it looked like to me, man,
Thank
because
you.
he it looked like he was really timid. Oliveira was walking him down. Oliveira was still getting hit, but when he was getting hit, it was kind of like, all right, I'm eating this shit. It's really not affecting me because he opposes well. He did whatever he wanted to Tony.
Yeah,
He
he
took him
did.
down. Tony. One thing I'll give Tony credit for, he had Tony in a crazy arm bar where he hyperextended his arm, and it looked like his arm was about to break off, and Tony didn't tap. I don't know if that's because he was saved by the bell or that's just Tony. Hey, I'm not tapping. He ripped my arm off,
I think any
but
sooner he would have tapped.
yeah, it looked bad, man. It looked like his arm was about to break. But it, Tony, man, he just got spanked. He really got spanked. And, I think he should retire? No. But do I think he needs to take time off? Probably. And he needs to get a coach because apparently he didn't have a coach.
Look, man. Like when I was watching the fight, I was like,
What?
it just
Yeah,
looks.
he didn't have a coach. He just had people, training partners, sparring partners with him. He didn't have a coach at all.
What it looked like when I was watching the fight was like it just looked like he came back a little too soon. Like I think he like that fight was a grueling fight for him against Justin Gaethje, and it was like he
Justin Gaethje.
yeah he really got beat, and it's just one of those things where there's nothing wrong with taking off a little bit more time just to get yourself back, in tip top shape. And I just feel like he just looked like a guy who needed more time, not a guy who's like washed up. Like I think it's a little too soon to say that. Only time will tell. But he just looked like somebody who just needed a little bit more of a break.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like I said, I only watched some of the highlights, so I can't really go into detail in terms of like Tony's performance necessarily. But I do remember because I was talking to Nigel about this actually before the fight, and we were both in agreement that like this was like a critical fight for Tony just because of like coming off of a loss with Justin Gaethje. And typically like it's very common as you see it in the sport where a guy gets to like being like the number one contender or almost fights for the number one contender spot, but something happens and then all of a sudden their career just goes like down the toilet pretty much. So and like I'm hopeful that from what it sounds like that the issue that Tony just had was just like coming back to the ring a little too soon, because that fight he did have with Justin Gaethje was very grueling, and it was like Justin Gaethje, like that was one hell of a performance we saw from Justin Gaethje that night. So I'm hoping that it's more or less something for Tony where he just needs to rebound from, and he just needs to take like some time off and really like get his bearings back together. Like, I got a question though. Do you guys think, like, moving forward, like in his next fight, do you feel that his next fight would be like the most pivotal fight in terms of like win or loss? In
No,
terms of like, no.
no.
I do, because if he loses this fight, now we're talking about like, yo, you lost 3 fights in a row to, you know, the top 10 lightweights. You know what I mean? One was a top 5 guy. One was a guy who was ranked 7. I'm pretty sure he'll get another fight, but it won't be any. It'll either be another guy who's ranked 7 or a guy who's like ranked 8 or 9.
Right.
He's, you know, and if he loses that, it's kind of like, okay, his career is dwindling down. And I think, you know, with Tony, besides him coming too soon, I think the problem was the fact, one of the other problems was the fact he didn't really have a coach. You know, he had this whole, I'm the smartest guy in the room, I don't need anybody to teach me how to fight type of shit. Like, and you know, he came in there and he just got dominated. And with that, it also shows like maybe if him and Habib did fight, Habib probably would have dominated him. You know what I mean?
Well, did he have a coach for the Justin Gaethje fight?
He had fucking if I'm not
Eddie
mistaken,
Bravo?
Eddie Bravo. Eddie Bravo went on Joe Rogan like a week later saying like, "Hey, I should have never been the coach for the fight. I'm like a wide receiver coach." Like,
Okay, that's why. Yeah, so
y-
you know, that makes a lot of sense. Then I mean, maybe if that's the case, then his next fight really might not be the end, because I mean, maybe he just needs to get a better team around him for real. And Eddie Bravo could always be like his like jujitsu coach or something like that. But I mean, maybe he just needs like a actual trainer for it. Because if that's the case, then he's made it a long way just by being Tony Ferguson. You know what I mean?
Right.
yeah,
But
my bad, Spence. You were already talking.
well, I was gonna say, but that's true. Like, he has made it a long way with being Tony Ferguson, but like if he loses another fight, just definitely after seeing what Dana's done already with like cutting like fighters and everything, and like saying like, hey, we're gonna be cutting like even bigger name fighters beyond like the Yoel Romeros and everything. Like, I don't think Tony's really in a position right now to really be in like a 3 fight losing streak. And like, let's say he was to lose, like if let's say he was to go on a 3 fight losing streak and lose to this next guy, that's let's say 8 or 9. Like, at that moment, I think, I'm not saying he would get cut, but I think I think it would lean Dana into saying like, yo, like this guy's washed. Like, we just got to cut him from the roster and like just keep it moving. So like, I even though like granted I didn't see his performance last night, but I do think like his next fight could be like very crucial to his career just from that perspective of the whole thing with Dana. So
Yeah, I agree with you, Spence. I agree with you. And like, you know, for the main event, uh, these are two unknown fighters outside of the combat sports, you know, analysts and fans. But Davison Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno had a classic championship fight. It was a great fight. It was honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. I was very impressed with Brandon Moreno. The shots that he was getting hit cracked with, I thought he was gonna get knocked out, but he was eating it, and he was cracking Figueredo
Yes, he was.
with precise boxing. His boxing was on point. And then, like after the fight, people were saying, like, you know, they reminded him like of old school Mexican boxers. You know how he was just eat shit, but come back and he went in and you know he would counter. I was just like, I was impressed with the fight, man. I was impressed with the fight. The fight ended in a majority draw. Davidson Figueredo, he's a low key dirty fighter. He like he kicked Moreno like right in the nuts.
He
like
did.
right,
He wasn't playing.
like on some pro wrestling shit. Kicked him right in the nuts.
Here, you know what my question about the fight is? Like, the way he holds his hands so low, man, like throughout the whole fight, like just face out. And I'm like, he's not really counterboxing. He's just like saying like who's tougher type, striking. That's what it felt like sometimes. I mean, did you get that low, or was it
Yeah,
just me?
well, yeah, I got that, and like I don't know if you guys seen an interview by Cody Garbrandt about a couple weeks ago, but he said Cody was like, yo, he keeps his hands low. He's like, if he were to fight a guy with really good boxing like Cody, because even
You
though
might put
he's
him
a
away.
yes,
You might put him to
exactly.
sleep for real, because he's not
Because
playing that game.
yo, Brandon Moreno outstruck Figueredo. And the only reason why Brandon probably didn't get the knockout in TKO, he probably didn't have the power to put him away. But somebody like a Garbrandt, it's not going to look good. You know what I mean? Let's say like Demetrius Johnson were to fight him, or Henry Cejudo. These guys have knockouts, from strikes.
Which
They would put Figueroa away. He's literally walking forward with his hands down. No,
yes,
like it's crazy.
yeah, no. If you watch that fight, just look at the way he holds his hands, and also. Demetrius Johnson recently came out and said he's never fighting the UFC again. He's like, once he's done in one, that's pretty much it for him. It's a wrap.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hey,
Why
man.
is that?
It's just, I guess he just doesn't want to do it anymore. He's getting older. He's like 37.
Hey, man, good for him. He doesn't have to prove nothing. Get yourself one more world title, even though if it's in a shiesty organization like one. But
Jeez, man. Jeez, man. Well, I hope you didn't have anything crazy to say to like Anthony Johnson or Yoel Romero when they signed the Bellator, then, man.
Hey, man, shouts out to both of them. I'm glad that Bellator got him because remember last week, guys, I was telling you, hey, these UFC cuts. Yes, unfortunately, some fighters will lose their jobs, whatever, but it's actually healthy for the MMA market while these other promotion, they could start getting other fighters. Boom.
Yeah.
Example. Here's example right here. Anthony Johnson, people are going to tune in to watch Anthony Johnson fight. People were not
fight each other.
People were not happy.
That would be crazy.
That would
right?
be that'd be a fight to tune into.
I definitely watch that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. People were not happy when Anthony Johnson announced his retirement. People weren't happy when Yoel Romero got cut. So these two going to Bellator, it's a smart move on Bellator because they know, hey, people are going to tune in to watch these guys, whether they fight each other or not.
Yeah, I mean that's it's a smart move on Bellator's behalf. At the end of the day, like you having someone like Anthony Johnson, not Anthony Joshua, but Anthony Johnson coming back. Granted, like I'm hoping, like, I'm not sure the details of his deal with them, but I'm hoping it's like a short contract because I would love for him to come back to the UFC just for like the fanboy in me to see him and like John Jones actually fight each other, hopefully. But like even then, like if that ship has set and sailed, I'm fine with that also. So, but even then, like I know when Anthony Johnson does fight, I am going to be watching it. Like I think anybody that's with a reasonable mind is going to want to watch him fight just as much as Yoel Romero. So I think the interesting thing is to see how like this top level talent, quote unquote top level talent, which is coming from the UFC, seeing how this tier of talent will perform in Bellator, because you never know how things will change over time, where you'll have certain promotions, the quality of their fighters progress. Like you have someone like the Pit Bulls and so on and so forth. So we've came a long way from just like someone like Michael Venom Page, right? And then you have someone like a Pitbull who's like in that pound for pound conversation as well. And seeing how someone like Anthony Johnson and Yoel Romero, see, like, though they may have gotten cut from the UFC, and like you said, it widens the talent pool for other promotions. It's curious to see how well they'll perform there within the UFC, because
which by the way, like Michael Venom Page, man, like you talking about a guy who really just gets like a lot of shine for almost nothing, man. Like it's like very flashy style, and like in the few times he's actually fought people who are like known to be like talented fighters, like was either almost fucked up or got knocked out. Like, you know what I mean? Shit's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Well, he's a glorified can, man. He was like Alistair Overeem. Overeem was over in Pride, stuffing his ass with steroids and knocking out kids. And that's why they gave him the name Uberim and Override, because this guy was juiced up really, really well, and just can crushing. And then he
But
goes over to the UFC. Yeah, he beats Brock Lesnar. The next time he starts getting knocked out because, hey, over here in the UFC, you can't fight on steroids.
Yeah, I can't believe. It's so funny when it comes to Uberim, man. Uberim, like, because I never forget. I watched someone like I'll never forget like someone like him. He was on when I first discovered him. I was watching like videos on YouTube, right, and I was seeing like him fighting at the Grand Prix and all of this stuff, da da da, and like it was like some clips where you saw like there was a noticeable change in his physique,
Yeah.
right, where it was like he went from being a boy to being in a grown man, like 39-year-old rock body. You get what I'm saying?
no, he's
And
definitely taking steroids.
yo,
Like, for a
but
fact.
I was so naive at the time, yo. I was watching it because I was working out a lot. This dude was just like, yo, I just eat a lot. He was like, I eat like all day. And I was just thinking, oh, that makes sense. And then eventually one day I was like, hold on, yo. I was like, there's no way someone can eat 10 times a day and look like this and still like be like an elite fighter. And I was like, yo, this man is juiced to the gills.
Come on,
Yeah.
he gained like 45 pounds of muscle in like the span of like 2 years. Like, you know what I mean? You know how unrealistic that shit is? Like that shit is crazy to do without some type of like major fucking help. Like
He said it was
crazy.
Yo, I'm gonna find the video clip because there's a video clip of him talking about that. And he says it's because I was just eating more food. He was like, I was eating more meals a day.
Yeah, all right. Sure.
That's how TJ got all that APO. He went through
It's like the
Overroid.
sandwich.
Yeah. Hey man, tell him it's horse meat.
Mm.
Yo, you gotta
Bro,
chill,
that's what you're
Canelo.
saying. Like I said, without some extra help, like
Yeah,
fucking
Canelo really
James
said
Harden
that
trying to
shit.
go to the Brooklyn Nets for it to help them out, possibly win a title or whatever.
So how do you guys feel about the NBA season coming back like next week? So right now it's in preseason. And KD and Kyrie yesterday they played their first, game together. And KD, he looked like he might be back.
Yeah, KD was looking
Okay.
good, man. I mean,
Yeah.
now, mind you, this is like preseason shit, but KD wasn't looking like he was out there hurting.
Yeah. Yep.
So
That's a good sign, though.
It
That's
is.
a real good sign.
it's a very good sign. So I mean, if I was somebody possibly thinking of going somewhere, aka like Giannis or James Harden, I would be watching that.
Yeah. My bad. Go ahead, bro.
Oh no! I was just gonna say like, yeah, it would be something I would keep my eyes out looking for. Like I know I had a coworker actually come to me and he was like, yo, he asked me a question. He was like, yo, did you hear about I guess apparently Kyrie had even said something like, yo, this is like the best player I've ever like KD's like the actual best player I've ever played with. I guess it was like some slight to LeBron or something like that, apparently.
Yeah. Kyrie, he's a guy that he needs to just shut up. Like he said, like, nobody's more clutch than like KD. And I look at it kind of like, yo, KD's nice. KD easily top 5, arguably top 3 player in the world today. But like, come on, you're telling me LeBron, the guy that carried you to a championship, literally put you on his fucking back and said, hey, I just need you to hit a couple of threes for me. Like I just don't see how I mean, obviously him and LeBron, they probably have some type of low key beef or whatever. But when he said that, it was just like, oh my God, here he goes. He's breaking out the knee pads because he knows that he was never going to get a championship without the help of KD. Like KD is that type of player. Like, hey, we could go to the finals and win a ring. Like LeBron,
Nice.
hey, we could go to the finals and win a ring. Like, he is like, thank God, thank God I have somebody like KD because he was never going. He was always going to have the one championship that LeBron gave him.
Oh,
So
yeah.
of course he's doing his best to lotion up everything that he can for KD and butter him up. I thought it was stupid, man. For Kyrie, and did you guys see that Kyrie was like, hey, I'm not going to be talking to pawns, referencing the media. So the NBA,
Stephen A. Smith did not like that shit.
The media fined him. Same with Shannon Sharp. They didn't like that either. Because you're essentially calling people who cover you and give you light and bring awareness to you, and believe it or not, you're plastered. You're one of the top 2 sports plastered in America, and you said, "Hey, we don't want to. I'm not talking to pawns." Okay, now you deserve all the criticism coming your way.
Yeah, that's not a smart thing. That's a bad choice of words to have. Like to call the people that pretty much work for, not necessarily work for you, but you guys have a relationship where it's like, hey, this is mutually beneficial.
Yeah.
Like to turn around and be like, hey, you're a pawn. It's like I think you kind of drinking your own Kool-Aid at that point, man. Like,
here's my thing. Like, I think that I agree with what you're saying, but I don't blame them for not wanting to talk to the media and whatever. Like, they don't have to necessarily want to talk to the media, but like to a certain degree, like it's a part of your job. Like, this comes with the territory. You know what I mean?
right.
I don't want to drive to work every day, but I mean, like, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's part of his job, and he got fined because he didn't show up and talk to the media. I'm like, bro, you could have pulled a Marshawn Lynch and be like, I'm only here so I won't get fined.
Exactly.
And people loved that. Even the media loved it. They were just asking him random questions just to hear what craziness he was going to say. Like they love that. They ate that shit up. He became like a superstar that year for that shit. So like Kyrie, man, I'm telling you, the dude, he's I don't know. It's not all there for him, man. And I'm glad that LeBron moved on and got a better player in Anthony Davis, man. And I think LeBron might retire at the same time Drake might retire, man. Two number ones
crazy.
at the same time. That would be crazy.
That would be crazy. Imagine like if I feel like, because how like with LeBron, because how he produced who was it, 2 Chainz album? Like,
what?
Yeah, you remember when he produced 2 Chainz album allegedly?
What was it? Rapper Go to the League, right?
Yeah, Rapper Go to the League.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Which there's some good songs on that album too.
Yeah, it was some good songs, but it wasn't like pretty girls like trap music.
Yeah, that I agree with Spence. That album right there, that was a dope album from 2 Chainz.
That's right.
Yeah, that's like his classic album, I would say. Like for 2 Chainz at least. But now like I know with 2 Chainz though, like he had LeBron produce that album or executive produce that album. And I'm just thinking like if Drake and LeBron were to retire at the same time, imagine Drake having like, and I'm very curious to how it would sound with LeBron, of course, but like LeBron actually like being the executive producer of that album. Like imagine what that would even sound like.
I don't know. I can't imagine it, man. I really can't. Actually, it's breaking news to me that he even produced, executive producer of 2 Chainz shit. You know what I mean? But a Drake like retirement album, Drake would have to make it a classic. I know Nigel hates talking about Drake. He's dreading it now, but we got to talk about the LeBron of the rap game.
How did my name even come out? I didn't say a fucking word. I'm just chilling.
I just see your eyes and you're like, bro, like here we go.
No, I was looking at the football game.
Here we go.
Lamar Jackson's running all over the Browns right now.
Why can't we talk about Hoop Life too? Why can't we talk?
What is it? The James Harden curse, right? That's what it's called.
Yeah. And one of the songs he was like, fuck James Harden. So basically, the curse is still real, bro.
Jeez.
So we have a question. We have an answer to the question now. The curse is still on and in effect. That's wild.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I can't remember. But yeah, man, like Drake, if he drops a retirement album, it got to be a classic, man. It has to be. He, it might be reminiscent of Jay-Z when he did one of his retirements.
I don't know, man. Like when I think about Drake retiring, like I honestly don't think there's going to be any like true retirement for Drake. I think Drake will just put out music like as he wants, and I think with that, we'll always get, we'll get the Drake that sounds like the Drake we all know, and then we'll get the Drake that kind of also like goes with the times, kind of like Jay Z has. Like, you know what I mean? Jay Z doesn't rap like Jay Z from back in the day anymore, but he easily could and would be accepted if he did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think I can see where that comes from. I think when it comes to Drake, though, I do feel like Drake will I think he'll announce a retirement album. I do agree with you though. He'll still keep putting out music. He'll probably just put it out at his own discretion rather, instead of like being like the artist that always comes out every year after year. Because I think with any artist, definitely someone of that caliber, like the bigger they get as a artist, i.e. means there's more money, which means there's more opportunities to make money outside of just making music.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree where like he'll still make music and put music out and have people like still want to listen to it. But I think he'll still put out a retirement album, and like what that album will sound like. Cause I think he'll have to put out that one album to just let people know, like, yo, like this is not it, but this is my last time I feel like I want to put my all into this, and then I want to go do some other stuff. So I think like that album though, I don't know if it might sound like the Black Album. It might sound like the Black Album of telling you like, yo, what I did, what I'm doing, what I will do. And this in the same breath that Jay-Z was able to like he did everything he said he would do. Either he did it, or did it at the end of the day. Like it's just like at some point in time, it's been done by him, whatever that task was in the terms of like what he referenced to on the Black Album. So I think when it comes to like this album, I just think if Drake puts out a retirement album, I think that one special track we get every album, I think we'll get it for like just like 15 songs. I'm not sure if you guys will like it because I mean, I know you guys aren't really a big fan of like some of Drake's best work. So
No, bro. Come on, let's cut the nonsense. No,
I'm just stating facts. That's all.
the general consensus is, hey, Views is not his best work. That's
It's
the
not.
general consensus. And the
Yeah,
and
you're
That's a
the,
fact. It's a
tripping.
fact.
and
It's,
the
Who are you?
let's be,
Who are
let's
you
be real.
asking?
You can
the
look it
general
up,
cons-
and it's going to be real.
First of all, the general consensus is Guapo Jackson and Big Cozy. That we
There you
are
go.
the
That's it.
consensus.
What else matters?
We are the
You're not the
consensus.
measuring. I'm glad you're not the measuring stick. Like,
No, damn the measuring stick. We are the consensus. When you do the 2020 consensus, we are the overseers. We are the ones that put the program in place.
hey yo, make
And
sure to cut this and make this the intro.
I'm just saying, man. Like Drake, I can listen to Views. I don't hate Views. What album I hate from Drake is Think of Me Later. That's fucking man. That's ashtray type shit, right?
See,
But
Jeez.
but fucking like Views is just to me and also to Nigel. Well, and we make up the general consensus that it's not his best work. So, but with that being said, whatever Drake decides to put out as his retirement album, whatever avenue he takes, as long as it's not Thank Me Later, I'll tune into it and I'll give it some replays because I gave Views some replays too. There's some songs of Views I do like. I'm not saying that.
Right.
Like I said, I'm not saying it's utter garbage. A lot of people didn't like that very first song of Views. I liked it. Keep the family close. But
That shit was real.
so all I'm saying though is just like I didn't think it was. The general consensus didn't think it was his best work.
nah,
Two
wha-
people.
Yo, that
Like,
should be our tag team name. The
the
general
general
consensus.
The general.
Nah, I already told
Two
y'all.
people.
I
Two
think
people.
I think his best albums are If You're Reading This and Nothing Was the Same. And I flip flop in between which one of those two I like the most, from Drake. But it's like Views is for sure on the bottom for me. Like, or if it's not on the bottom, then it's like damn near, and that's just the way it
Chopped.
is. But
That-
maybe
Views
when
is
he,
Views
maybe
is
when he-
number one.
maybe when he gets done rapping, he can go and be Obama in the Christopher Nolan directed movie.
Ooh, that'd be
See?
crazy. Christopher
See?
Nolan directed him.
Come on.
Yes, nigga, man.
Just imagine how crazy that would be, right?
I'm gonna let you have it. Views number one, but
nah,
I'm gonna leave it at that. But
did y'all see what Christopher Nolan said about the movies coming out?
Yeah, I seen something what he was saying. He had a point. Personally, I think he has a point.
What did he say so we can all know what he said?
Well, I was about to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're right, because like what pretty much he was just saying like how this HBO Max deal is not going to be good, will not be beneficial for filmmakers in terms of like how they can finance a movie essentially, which ultimately leads to the quality of a movie overall. So
I gotta play devil's advocate with this, right? I like Christopher Nolan films. I think we all do. So here's the contrast to that. Hey, Chris, Tenet came out on theaters off the strength of you saying no streaming platforms, and it didn't do well in the box office. Hey, Chris, how are these movie studios going to make their money back if we're just holding out until the pandemic's over to have theaters open? At least we put it on the streaming platforms, we have a chance to at least break even. You know, we got to make some type of movie, Chris, or you're going to be filming these movies out of your fucking garage. So that's the devil's advocate to that. I hear what Chris is saying, and what Chris is saying is not wrong from the art aspect and the quality aspect of films. But when you start talking about the business side of shit, how are you going to make your fucking money if nobody's going to your theater to watch it? The actors and the actresses, they're already paid. They did their job. They acted. You know, they're sitting back, sipping, mimosas wherever now. But you and the producers, they have to get fucking paid. They can't get paid if the movie is not in the theater. So the next best thing is, hey, we're gonna put on the streaming platform, charge whatever, so we could get some type of money. Unless, Chris, you want to open your garage up for business and film out of there. You could film Tenet 2 out of there. Tell me how that goes.
But and I get what you're saying in terms of playing that devil's advocate, because clearly I think you agree with him just like I do. Because I was going to say, because my question is then like at that point is like, what is like the value of like the short-term Band-Aid? The short-term play, which would be the Band-Aid, is like them doing things how they're going to do them, right? Of putting them out on both platforms at the same time. But like the long-term run is like, yo, financially, like if granted, like, hey, the short-term play is these companies are able to get their money back, right? They're closer to breaking even at least. And that helps now, but eventually it's like you're not getting what the things that we love about these great movies, like Christopher Nolan movies and everything, like the Batmans and so on and so forth, Tenet. You're not getting that movie if he doesn't have the budget for it. And if he doesn't have the budget for it, then at that point it's gonna look like he's filming every movie in the garage. Like, I'm sorry, like someone like Christopher Nolan, he deserves to spend $200,000. If he wants to spend $100 million to make a movie, he has earned that right. But
probably spends more, man. I heard Tenet was expensive.
Yeah, it was a very expensive movie, and it was Christopher Nolan, so they were expecting to get it all back.
Yeah,
like for real. Let's be real, man. Like I was looking at it the other day. I was like Disney, for example. You know what Marvel Avengers success looks like? Over $1 billion. They expect it. Like, that's
like, the standard.
I mean? Yeah. It's like when they make like 700 million, it's like, whoa. Like, hey, y'all got to fix that shit. Like, never again.
We need some reorganization going on.
Yeah, for real. Like, so I understand what he's saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
he spent $205 million to make Tenet.
And what was the box office for? The box office for it?
359.9.
I mean, that's good. Don't get me wrong, but you think they weren't expected to double that?
But that must
7.
Yeah,
but that's like global numbers, though. That's not just domestic.
then that's they were definitely expecting to make more money. Like they made money. I'm sure they made a little bit of money, but then all right, this is the problem with the Justice League movie when it came out. So yeah, they broke even as far as like the cost for production, but in order to match the cost for advertisement, they had to make a decent bit more money, and I don't think they ever did, and that's why we saw like all that shit stop, man. Like that these business people, they want dollars in their pocket and dollars in their company. They're not investing in this shit for nothing.
Hey man, sidetrack guys. I really think that we should for the listeners get into some more movie topics, man, because I feel like we all could talk about some movies, not just like movies themselves, but like behind the scenes shit, man. Because I feel like movies is very interesting. I'm a low key movie buff, so I could talk about some good movies. So my bad for the sidetrack.
No, you're good. We're talking about entertainment. We can talk about other things in entertainment too, like Mario Judah, because I know you like him a lot.
Oh my god, fuck.
How you like whole lot of red?
I don't know. It didn't drop yet. It doesn't drop till December 25th.
No, it dropped already.
I mean, Playboy Cardi, he didn't drop it.
No, Playboy Cardi told you already. He woke up to people sounding like him, okay, and clearly he woke up to Mario Judah sounding like him, and he gave you a whole lot of red. Man, so what's there to complain about?
Man, if it's not
and
Playboy Cardi,
so
man, I'm going back to Dial-It then.
What is your problem with him? Why do you not like Mario Judah?
Bruh, he's an industry plant. Come on, this guy came out of nowhere. He came out of fucking nowhere, and then he has this trash ass, rock sounding like song, and where people are like, "Oh, he might be racist because he's saying nigga," and I'm just like, "Yo, this is an industry plant. Somebody whose job on the label, hey man, your job is to create some buzz and controversy around this fat fuck. So go ahead and do that. Like this guy, come on, can you honestly say this guy is good? Like, would you put that on your mom's? Like, this guy is a great talent. Exactly. This guy's he's a fucking joke, and he's an obvious joke, man. It wasn't like Lil B where it's like homegrown, nobody backing this nigga at all, and he gained his own buzz. This nigga came out of nowhere. He's already having performances on fucking Rolling Loud. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's industry plant shit. And not only that, man, his music isn't hitting at all, man. The guy, he's a fucking joke. His music is a joke. It's not even rap music. If you say that's rap music, then it's one of those things you're kind of like, all right, bro, I'm gonna walk away from you.
I mean, it's all entertainment, bro. Like at this point, like I agree with you because we talked about this off mic, where Mario Judah is nothing more than like just a reiteration of 6ix9ine, right? And I think this time they just know, hey, how they can control it. As you can see, like nobody knew who this guy was 2 months ago. Like 2 months ago, I never heard of his name. I never heard of like. I know some people that are younger than me that are like in the teenage loop of like music and stuff like that. Like little cousins, never heard them bring him up. All types of stuff, all different parties, never heard his name. And then out of nowhere, he's like on Rap Genius. So the same with you. I think he's an industry plant. It also shows to me like, yo, he's took the 6ix9ine route of like creating controversy to like promote himself, because like he's going to be a flash in the pan, no different than Trinidad James. But right now he figured out a hack. I'm not sure if he figured out the hack to get inside, or if they figured out a hack and said, hey, let's just pick this kid up and we can control him, because he didn't have much prior to. Because if you go on his Instagram, or he might have deleted them now, but he had some like Instagram pictures from earlier this year that didn't even have like 1,000 likes, which like granted is social media, but like if you're like this popping, quote unquote, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you should be having more traction via social media. So
I mean, who knows, man? Like, it seems like something is definitely in the works. It's like it's a little bit too much, you know what I mean, in this case. But it's just like it just seems weird. Like it's entertaining to a certain degree. The whole lot of red thing kind of reminds me of what Young Thug tried to do with Lil Wayne back in the day.
Oh yeah.
The Barter Six.
Yep, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So like that. So that seems somewhat familiar. I can't say that anything about it seems unfamiliar. It seems like things that we've seen before, just kind of in a different package.
Yeah.
But Thug was the real rapper, bro.
No, I'm
Thug-
not saying that about Thug. Look, I like Thug. I'm not saying that about Thug. I'm saying it about Mario Judah.
Mario, man. Okay, so
Damn, you're ready. You're ready to be done. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Move us on.
Yeah.
Well.
Well,
okay.
I was hoping. I'm just hoping he doesn't try to do the same. I hope he doesn't try to do another stealing of albums with someone like Pusha T, because apparently, because I'm not sure if you know, but apparently, like Kanye's supposed to be working on a whole lot of Red for Playboy Cardi, and apparently Pusha T just came out and confirmed it with Steven Victor, which is not surprising that Kanye West and the Neptunes will be actually producing his next album, which isn't too big of a surprise, but like something to look forward to. I can say that at least.
Yeah, ties to both.
Shouts out to Pusha T. I remember me and Spence. I just came home, you know what I mean, from business, and Spence was like, "Yo, man, let's go to this Pusha T concert." And I was like, "All right, fuck it." It was my first time going to a rap show. We all had a good time, you know what I mean.
I think
But
I lost my voice.
Yo, it's still OVO over here, bro. So it's still
Wow. How did you direct that back to Drake?
That was so
That's crazy.
It's
So
still
random.
Yeah.
Still
You made-
OVO around here, bro.
Bro, listen, I made sure that the conversation about Drake wasn't even going to be near the Pusha T conversation, just so
Oh
they
my
couldn't
God,
be in the
man.
same breath.
All right.
And this guy,
Y'all want to talk about any other music that came out? I listened to 38 Special. He put out a project called 1995.
I didn't check it out yet.
I listened to that. It was meh at best.
It was
Not
cool.
because-
I mean, damn, wow. All right. Like, my God.
It was
They didn't
near
expect-
the-
It was a 15-minute project. I mean, like, well, you want me to say like it's the best thing that ever came out? It was cool for a little 15 minutes. It sounded like a whole bunch of freestyles put together. That's what it
Yeah.
sounded like. But it was
That's
cool.
what it sounded. Yeah, that's why I was like meh, because I was expecting like a, usually when he puts out projects, he's either doing collaborations or his own joint, but he mainly produces his shit. This I was like, yo, man, I could just go on YouTube and find 90s freestyles. So like, it was mad to me.
No, I get it. It's just that it's 15 minutes. I wasn't really expecting too much. You know what I mean? Like it's like what 12 songs in 15 minutes.
I'm just saying, like the way you brought it up, I was like, oh, okay, he 38 Special got a gem.
Well, no,
Next-
I say it because I know a lot of people listen to Jack Harlow. That came out too.
I was just like, okay, here we go, Rap City, the Basement mixtape. That's what this was. But
Yo, you gotta chill, man. You gotta chill. You gotta chill, yo. You gotta chill. Hell, did you heard you talking about 38 Special? You heard Heem's album though, right?
Heem's album was fire.
But
The
I
long
didn't
story
listen.
short,
I ain't listen to
fire.
38 Special joint, but like Heem's album is fire. I ain't gonna hold you. It's like 35, 40 minutes. I thought that's what you was talking about in the text, Nigel.
Nah, I haven't heard that yet. I was talking about 38 Special. I know y'all were talking about Jack Harlow a little earlier. I still didn't get a chance to listen to it, but
Oh, bro, that joint is all right.
yeah, I was gonna say that joint is all right. I'm not gonna
man.
hold you because like prior to Spets saying anything today, you could have talked to Big Cozy about Jack Harlow. And then, I listened to the good word of the brethren, and I trust his advice and judgment. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna pop it in. I'm gonna go ahead and listen to it through Apple Music. And I was like, you know what? This is all right. This ain't that fucking bad. I can't even hate on it. So shouts out to Jack Harlow, man. You put out a solid project, man.
Yeah, actually, shout outs to John. Yeah, shout outs to him because like he had said something to me on or he had tweeted something about the Jack Harlow being his album being nice, and I kept seeing tweets about it, but I'm like, I'm not buying into it. It's a dope album. Me and Lau, we had talked about it, and like you can hear a lot of like Drake influence. I can definitely say that. A lot of Drake influence, a lot of like primarily just Drake. It's like that one special song Drake puts on every album. Jack Harlow, he kind of like he puts everything together. He kind of puts everything together where you're getting that Drake song pretty much throughout the whole album. Not the whole album, but like a fair majority of the album, I'll say.
The song that I liked the most was the fucking the Chris Brown song.
Mm.
The Chris Brown song was the song that I liked the most, and I was just kind of like, yo, like this is all right. So Nigel, definitely tune in. You know what I mean? One half of the general consensus is already saying it, so I need the other half to tune in.
It's fair enough, man. I mean,
So
if I don't like it, then the general consensus has spoken, and it's
yeah,
just a 50-50. You might
you're
like it,
right.
Well,
you might
luckily
not.
the measuring stick will let you guys know. The measuring stick of the culture.
the
The
measuring
measuring stick.
stick.
The measuring stick of the culture will let you guys know that it's good
Say Kitch, the measuring stick. You know,
of the culture.
Guapo Jackson, Big Cozy, the general consensus. We're like the fucking NWO.
oh
Oh,
gosh,
God.
yo. Speaking of that, right? I remember we had spoke about this a while ago, but
Speaking of what? Speaking of what? What's up?
nah, the cop in
ahead.
the 250.
Yeah.
I heard
Oh,
People don't
heard-
know about that yet.
yeah,
Yeah,
People don't know about
nah.
that.
Yeah.
Nah, if they should if you've been listening, it's early episodes. We talked about a cop in the 250.
Did
So
we?
we ain't even we talked about a cop in the 250 early.
Oh
early.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first 3 episodes we talked about cop in the 250.
Yeah, how did I come up?
Like
why
you
did
gotta
we say
realize
that?
those early episodes we were just kind of like chatting. So
Yeah.
like we I think somewhere along the lines we were just like, yo, someone we're gonna bring up the 250.
Oh,
Like
okay. Well, go ahead. Say what you were gonna say.
shout outs to Lil Baby though. He copped the 250, but of course, Shorty couldn't keep her mouth quiet. And she went on a porn star actually. Funny enough, speaking about Pornhub earlier, hopefully she has a verified account because now she has probably messed up the bag for herself because she went on Twitter drunk after a meetup
Fumbled.
allegedly meeting up with the baby. Fumbled the bag. She get the bag. What did Amigos call it? I get the bag and you get the bag and fumble it.
Yeah.
I get the like whatever it is. Like she fumbled the bag nonetheless. And yeah, so but she was trying to say like, yo, Lil Baby paid her like 6 bands or 16,000, something crazy.
Man, all she had to do was shut up.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Well,
Yeah.
with that, wasn't she saying like, oh, that was like the best she ever had and shit? So she, you know, it sounded like she started to become emotionally invested in the situation. You know, it sounded like, you know, what she had was like her Prince Charming, and then she couldn't keep quiet about that shit. And you know, she
That's
was
how it
like,
happens.
yeah. So like he really, and if he did do that and all that stuff like that, like damn, you know what I mean? Like, bro, like I'm pretty sure more rappers do that shit where they sleep with porn stars.
Yeah,
But
of course.
yeah, but
Yeah. I mean,
she,
don't you remember Max B slept with Roxy Reynolds?
I'm not surprised that Max B did that. You know, he was always talking about fucking bitches, you know. So
Nah, he's literally on camera drinking Grand Cru saying how he smashed Roxy Reynolds.
and he probably did. Lil Wayne was fucking porn stars too. Like
I'm
like
sure
I
they all
said,
done it.
I because I mean look at what's his name? Lil Uzi. Lil Uzi, didn't he smash that one girl who
JT?
No. I mean, is she a porn star?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. You're talking
I
about the
mean,
one
she's a
model.
city girl.
I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, the one model girl. Yeah.
I mean, supposedly that was his thing for a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
I think
Trippy Red apparently smashed Tiana Trump. Like, you know what I mean? So like
she just messed up the situation for herself. Like if she was doing it for money and all she had to do was be quiet, then hey, look.
she got emotionally invested, man. She thought like, hey, I don't got to do porn no more.
Hey.
I had sex with Lil Baby. You know,
kept business.
Hey, well, I mean, like I said, she got emotionally invested. Hey, this is my highway ticket. I put this porn on him. He got to come back.
Clearly, he hit the skip button.
Yeah.
On that one, he clearly hit the skip button because he. I mean, listen, man. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. Lil Baby did it the smart way. I don't. Well, I'll say this. Lil Baby, I don't condone soliciting prostitution there's nothing. What people do with sex workers is their business. But you know what I mean? He thought he was paying for a product, and I guess he just the agreement to getting the whole product just didn't work out. But I mean, hey, it's the rules to the game, and you live and you learn. You know what I mean? And besides, like Shorty said, he gonna be in the clear nonetheless. I don't know if you guys heard though. Less off of that, but Boldy James he dropped another album
What's
actually
it
this
called?
year. Big Bad Boldy,
That
and
I'm gonna listen to it. I
yeah,
still haven't
that
listened to the Versace tape, honestly.
I li-
You're
I
slacking, Nigel.
I
Come
ain't.
I
on.
I've been
listen,
listening to a lot
bro.
of shit, man.
I listened to the Versace tape. I wasn't a big fan of it.
Mm,
Like, I
mm,
wasn't a big fan. I wasn't a big fan of the Versace tape.
mm.
Like,
I
yeah,
I enjoyed the Versace tape. I don't know if I enjoyed it because of how Boldy James is rapping on the Jay Versace beats, or I just enjoyed it because I like Boldy James a lot. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's between that two, but Big Bad Boldy, that project was cool. I don't think it's better than Versace tape. I
really.
think no, I don't. There were some songs on there that I was like, okay, I don't really care for. But the Versace tape and Prostitute China are like high points for me for this year for especially from Boldy James. Next year, hopefully he comes out with another big project because the Big Bad Boldy just sound like, hey yo, oh you got some cool beats. Hey, let's just put something together real quick. That's what this sounded like.
Yeah, it definitely felt like it felt like more like a mixtape where someone was just kind of putting music together. It he did rap over like some old beats, which I did honestly personally I like that feeling because I'm glad rappers are kind of getting back to like rapping over old beats just because it's like that nostalgic feeling.
Right.
But yeah, like I mean, I actually really like this project. I personally, like I said, I wasn't a fan of Versace tapes. So like to me, this is like up there with Price of Tea in China. I think this might be one of his best projects this year. I will say this though, the only song I did not like, which he's rapping good on, I think it's called like I believe it's called Goodfoot. I believe it's either Goodfoot or Light Bill because it's either what I think it's got Mayhem Loren on it, so I think it's Light Bill. But it's literally probably the worst beat I've ever heard before.
Mm.
No, it can't,
Literally,
you haven't heard some terrible beats.
Have you ever heard the
no.
song East by Earl Sweatshirt?
No, listen, have you ever heard that beat that they play over that meme with LeBron in the studio nodding his head?
I was thinking about Baker Mayfield.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah, literally that beat
Oh,
is
God.
literally the beat that's on Bodie James tape. That I personally to me, I think is a horrible beat. There's a great rapping over that beat, but it's a horrible beat. It's up there with that Baker Mayfield meme.
So here's what I want you to. Nah, what I want you to do is listen to the song East and tell me what you think because like it's one of the worst beats I've ever heard. And like tell me what you think next year when we get on the podcast again.
or Blue Flame intro. That's a bad beat too.
Matter of fact, I'll check it out. I'll check it out. I'll definitely check it out. Hey yo, did you guys? I don't know if you guys heard or not, but apparently on Clubhouse there was like a whole conversation between Meek Mill and the Tubby Man, aka
I did hear about
Academics.
that. Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
I seen that. I seen that apparently. I don't know what Clubhouse is. I'm assuming it's some type of app where people could
yeah,
join in and talk to each other. It's like a group chat. It reminds me of Uvu back in the
yeah.
day without the video. So motherfuckers apparently Tory Lanez, 21 Savage, Meek Mill, and some other rappers. They're all in Academics quote unquote clubhouse, and they were basically like shitting on him. And Academics and Meek Mill were apparently arguing back and forth. And the Academics ended up leaving or some shit. And then 21 was basically like saying, like, hey, the reason why Academics is prominent because you're giving that nigga ammunition to post shit. Stop posting shit, negative shit, and he won't be posting negative shit type of shit. And then basically it's one of those things like, hey, Academics, we're waiting to catch you in traffic type of deal. And
Yeah.
And it's it'll be like a long time coming when that happens, right? Because it's like I feel like this guy. See, before he was just a media guy. He didn't. He stayed out of people's lanes, and he was just reporting on shit, whatever. Now he's like the referee of a fight. He's starting to believe he's the star of the show, and he's talking shit to our rappers now. Talk about, oh, I can't wait. I couldn't wait to flex on one of you rap niggas. Just real corny shit. We already know this guy, and he said it on live publicly, like, "Hey, I'm not gonna fight. Da da da. I'm gonna call the police. All sorts of shit." The guy is the true definition of a keyboard warrior, right? A guy that lives behind his phone, his computer, talking hell of shit, and then he's nowhere to be found because he's hiding in the same hole that the groundhog is in. And if you ever come across him, it'll be like a unicorn sighting or Bigfoot sighting, but you want to take the opportunity to fuck him up, and I just feel like this academic thing, man, he's kind of like a plague on the culture, unfortunately. And like him making money is good for him. Get it how you can. But like the dude is not a positive at all. Like I saw today, he posted like a picture of NBA YoungBoy posted up with a gun. And then I read the comments and the fans were like, "Yo, why don't you post that he went gold? Why don't you post something? Why don't you post something positive about Young Boy?" And I'm like, that's kind of like what Meek Mill and them were talking about. He's just striving for the negative shit.
But at the same time, I feel you on that. Like, I think because I didn't listen to the whole thing, but from what I listened to of the conversation, you can tell where there are points being made on both ends, right? Like I do agree where to some extent he profits off of what happens from the culture, right? But at the same time, I do believe like academics is also like he's doing his job, right? To some extent. I think sometimes there is this blended view of like what is deemed appropriate culturally versus what is deemed appropriate professionally, right? And from a professional standpoint, if you look at academics for what he is, because they even were talking about he's a journalist at this truest profession, right?
Yeah.
And it goes back to the whole thing with the conversation with Vlad last week, where like the whole issue with Casanova and how the feds had said they were using parts of interviews. Like I think someone like academics, I'm not putting like even academics told me like, yo, I'm not putting anything that you aren't putting on the internet. You're putting this stuff on the internet. You shouldn't get mad at me for posting something that you put up. You know what I mean? Like, which makes a lot of sense. So like I understand where Ack is coming from. I do think I do think there's a lot that can be changed and there's a lot of growth, a lot of room for growth when it comes to like his platform, I'll say. And I think whatever that's defined as, I think is something that he has to figure out because I think academics is going to be able to be sustainable, but just after seeing like a conversation like that, I think someone like having someone like a 21 Savage there to help from de-escalating the situation to something even deeper at least. Um, it, it's just a shame that like we do live in a society where someone like academics he he profits off of something like this from a culture, but at the same time, it's like I th- I think he has to recognize where there needs to be a balance at the end of the day.
I
So
mean, this is final thing I'll say about the
right,
infamous Tubby Man is, you know, I just don't. Yes, you're gonna, you know, report and post the drama and all that. That's how you get clicks, clickbait type shit. I get it.
Right.
But when he's posted shit, kind of like, so remember when 6ix9ine got out of jail, and then there was like this garbage rapper. It was like, hey, you want to get to 6ix9ine, kills kids, kills family, and then he posted that. And people were like, yo, why are you posting this? Take this down.
Right.
And the fact that he has the audacity to post that, that's the problem, bro. Just because you see somebody doing that, you gotta
It's
have
like you're supporting it.
exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Like,
There's nothing positive about that. It's like, bro, like, why are you posting that? And out the top of that, 6ix9ine is supposed to be your meds. Why are you posting somebody be like, hey, go kill his kids, go kill his family? That's how you get at him.
But
Like
that's
that,
how you,
like
my
that ain't that's not like, come on, bro. Like there's gotta be a balance. That's what I mean.
right.
my thing is that with academics, like I don't see how he can't agree with them to a certain degree, especially when he was somewhat, you would figure, I don't want to say involved with X like around the time of his passing. You know what I mean? Whether it be like on a more like personal level or just somebody who talked to him every now and then as far as media goes, like who knows? But it's one of those things where, XXX Tentacion had passed away, got murdered. And then, I remember specifically watching a moment from Everyday Struggle where Joe Budden was like, hey, look, you should watch out for him because somebody's going to kill him. And I'm sure he didn't mean like in the sense of like, hey, somebody's going to run up on him in the middle of a motorcycle shop. But like he was saying he's moving dangerously. So, warn your friend. If he's your friend, you should warn him.
Right.
And it's just certain things that we all see and we just handle differently. And when you promote the other side of it, it's like, hey, you're kind of playing a role in this, whether it's minimal or large.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just
It's a
saying.
fact.
Anytime you post something, hey man, go kill his family, go kill his kids, bro. You don't. That's not. What kind of morals do you got, bro? It's one thing to post drama with females and shit like that, or if rappers talking shit on Instagram. It's another thing to be posting shit like that. You know what I mean? Like when King Von died, he was posting all the Quando Rondo shit, and I'm just kind of like, bro, like, what are you here for? Like, are you here to be fake journalism? You know what I mean? Or are you here just to be like, fuck everybody? I'm gonna post whatever the fuck I want, and if somebody has a problem, they're not going to get to me anyway because they're behind the screen, I'm behind the screen, and I think that's why people have problems with him, man. And more power to him, man. His time is coming, and when his time comes, no, I don't wish death on nobody or nothing, but somebody might spank him, and then when it happens, it might not. Unfortunately, he might get a bad wave of the spanking.
Right. I mean, hey, listen, man. Like, only time will tell. I mean, let's just with 2020 being the year that it's been, let's just pray for more positivity, more peace, more love, more wins, less losses. Because we know one thing, if we don't know anything for certain, is that the Washington Redskins, well, I mean, Washington football team, actually finally gave the Steelers their first loss, which they've been overly due for. So I just wanted to bring that up. We don't have to really talk too much about it. I just wanted to bring that up since I know the what's your guy's name again?
The Washington football
No,
team,
no, the consensus,
no, the general consensus.
the general, because I know the general consensus.
Oh, he's
They're
trying to
both
play divide and
equally
conquer. That's what
invested.
he's trying to do. All
They're
right, you
But
got it.
I'm just saying the general consensus is equally invested in this update, just because one is a Steelers fan and one is a Washington football team fan. So I just figure I'll
He's
put
trying
that
to
out
divide
there.
and conquer. That's smart. That's
Divide
smart.
and
hey,
conquer. I'm bringing light to the news.
hey,
Things are
man.
happening out here. It's what's happening, baby.
Hey man, the general consensus, we might not be fans of the same team, and Big Cozy was right in his spoiler, but at the end of the day, we are the world tag team champions, and if Nigel has to keep eating the pin, because shouts out to the Bills, they that so be it. But at the end of the day, we will walk away with the gold.
So, like I said before, our listeners, they never wanted to talk about football until the Steelers lost. Like every time we've talked about Steelers or football on the show, it's been because of me. They never wanted to talk about the
You've
show
been
prior
highly advised.
to the Steelers losing. And it's funny because Lau planned
Oh,
on
he
having a
about to go
little
on a rant.
Lyle had a little plan for the 1-11-1, but since that time has passed, since we recorded, now he's on the Bills Mafia, which is cool because I've never heard him support the Bills in my life, and he might just say that randomly now as a thing, which is cool. That's fine. I've known Lyle for a long time, listeners, at least a decade. Never have I heard him mention the Bills ever. I even talk about Josh Allen in a good light, and he's like, "Nah, bro, nah," and I'm just like, "All right."
Hey man, all I'm saying is you'll never forget that day in history. We were the 1-11-1. You'll never forget it. I remember you were in the house, angry. You banged the side of your couch. I remember that, bro. You got pissed off, and you're
I've
like,
done
"All
that
right,
shit on accident with football games too. I
yeah."
get into it, man.
See, I'm telling the truth. Everybody out.
Nah, it wasn't like that. I think we'll have a good year. Like I think the Steelers are gonna be all right though. It was a weird way to end the year and whatever, but you know, we are here with the people recording the podcast. And the next time we see you guys will be in January, or at least with, the regular type of show. We are out for the year. We will see you guys later. We have some stuff coming for y'all, but like, what do you guys have to say about this year as far as the podcast
Um,
goes?
in terms of like the future, or just wrapping up for 2020.
Both. Go for it.
For wrapping up for 2020, I want to thank everybody that's listened to the podcast, been here throughout the whole year. And I can't wait to see what more we have in store with you guys. And in terms of the future, there's a lot of things that we're working on. Some things, we'll get more into as time reveals itself. But there's a lot of things we're working on, to say the least. I'll leave it at that. And I can't wait to see what we have to unveil in the near future in terms of like for the audience themselves. So I mean, that's really all. That's really what I got to say in terms of like what has to when it comes to that. So,
Man, fuck 2020 for real.
Mm.
Fuck 2020. What I will say, right, on a positive note is, shouts out to everybody that supported us, that listened to us. We will be better. We will be improved, and we will be a great product in 2021. Not saying we were bad at all in 2020, because we're not. We were just guys that just started to get our feet wet in this mad game called podcasting. So definitely thank you to the listeners. 2020 has been a rough year, I can imagine, for almost everybody in the world. 2020 has been very crazy. A lot of crazy fucking events. But 2021 isn't going to be like, hey, the best year overnight, but we're all hoping that 2021 will become, a year where things start to become better. But regardless, we will have to stay strong. Big Cozy will stay strong for the people, because without the millions and millions of Big Cozy fans, just joking, but for real, I just want to thank you guys, because it was definitely a trio, all three of us, like three musketeers type shit. It was like, hey, or three amigos, whatever. Hey, let's put this idea into reality, and we fucking did it. And
thanks.
we're only going to get bigger. You know, Natural won't be the only one calling himself a whole lot of money. So
I won't.
me as Spence, we will be
Facts.
calling ourselves. I mean, I'm already being a whole lot of money, but just just for the sake of boosting, Guapo Jackson's ego. So honestly, thank you guys. I love you, my
Guapo.
brothers. 2021, we're coming for your motherfucking neck, as always. And shouts out to everybody. Shouts out to the world. You know, that's it.
Well, for
Boom, boom,
me,
boom, boom.
the year's been a lot of change and a lot of growth. You know what I mean? Like, not just because of like the amount of shit that has happened, especially towards like the latter part of the year. Just like all types of like, I would say just the changes that have happened, from jobs to all types of things going on. It's similar to what I saw on Thanksgiving. Like, it's been a lot, and I think next year can only be better because, like I've said to a lot of people this year, when things seem to get the worst, usually they can have no choice but to go high because if things are at its worst moment, then the next moment can't be any worse. You know what I mean? Or at least you would strongly hope that it wouldn't. But it's one of those things where uh, there's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot of things from the podcast. I like doing this with my friends. I have fun doing this with my friends. Um, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things that aren't going to change from this year. So, anybody who goes into 2021 saying this is like my year now, like, just save that for like 2023 when things might be back to normal because shit's going to be like this for a long time. So, that's just the way it is. And, like, I think just keep on coming back and listening to us and tell us that you actually, like our shit. Like and subscribe our shit. You know what I mean? Bookmark our shit, reshare our shit, retweet our shit, do everything with our shit that we put online, and we have it for y'all to listen to.
Yeah, man, drop the motherfucking handles, man. Drop the motherfucking ads. Hey, we're gonna start getting fucking clue bombs for y'all, man. Go ahead now, drop that shit.
Follow us at Highly Advised Podcast on Instagram and Advise Highly on Twitter. We will see you guys next year. You have been highly. All right,
Hold
go
on.
ahead, Spence.
Before we get out of here, everybody listening, just want to let you guys know, over the next couple of weeks, we will be out. This is the last episode we'll be recording for the year of 2020, but for the next couple of weeks, there will be episodes that will be coming out of conversations that we've had from earlier this year, of things we've kept in the vault that we wanted to express to you guys and let you guys dive and indulge in on some of these conversations. So be in tune and look out for those things, as well as a year-end wrap-up in terms of some other things that's been going on in terms of what we cover. So with that being said, drink your water, love your neighbor, and I'll see you guys in 2021.
You have been highly advised. We'll see you guys later.
Whole
You've
lot
been
of red
highly-
drops December 25th.
Whole lot of red drops. It's like, nah.